welcome to another planty video. Something a little bit different today. It's a video I've been meaning to film for over a year and I just haven't really known how to approach it. But today feels like the day. So I'm going to put some trigger warnings here in advance, I guess. So I'm going to be discussing mental health, depression, anxiety, things like that. So I guess if that's something that you find difficult to listen to, maybe this video isn't for you. But basically, I just wanted to talk about plants, mental health, and knowing when you've reached your limit. So I've been seeing a lot of things on social media, and when I say social media, I mean Instagram. I don't go on Facebook. Facebook is just truly awful. So that's what I'm talking about is Instagram when I refer to social media. People posting lots of things like you can never have too many plants, or what should you do when you're feeling down? Buy more plants. And I don't necessarily think this is the healthiest message. So yes, collecting is fantastic, and I would imagine if you're watching this, you are in fact a plant collector. I am a plant collector, but I'm also a plant collector who has mental health struggles. And for me, that's depression and anxiety. So sometimes I'm medicated, sometimes I'm not, obviously with the aid of a medical professional. But it's something that I need to keep in mind surrounding this hobby, which for me it is a hobby. I don't run a shop. This is purely a passion. I just love plants and I want them in my house. The reason that I started collecting, I've always had plants. They've always been a part of our life growing up. We had plants in our house. We had a garden. We were involved in gardening. We were in charge of our own pots in the garden, things like that. So they've always been around. And I really started collecting / expanding the plants that I had already when we moved into this house, because it's larger than the apartment I was in before and it has nice light. But for me, I'm at my limit. This is enough plants for me. I know personally that when plants are lots of plants together on a shelf, like more than 3, my brain reads that as clutter, and that makes my anxiety go into absolute overdrive. So inside this house, there are probably about 50 plants, and that is enough for me. So if one comes in, one needs to leave. Now I know other people have higher limits. Some people can have 300 plants in their house and be totally okay with that. And some people can have 4 and that's okay with that. That's okay with that, that's okay. But I'm kind of getting this feel on social media that if you don't have hundreds and hundreds of plants, hundreds and hundreds of rare, expensive plants that you might not necessarily be able to afford, I can't afford those plants, that you're not a plant lover and your collection isn't good enough. And that's putting pressure on people, I think, because you know inside that you love plants, but if externally people are saying, yeah, well, you don't love them well enough because... I know the point I'm trying to make, but now it's not coming out properly, but I think I'm sort of being clear. Basically, if it's not rare, there's not hundreds of them, and then it's not good enough and you're not actually a plant collector, you just dabble. And that's not true. Having just one plant means that you are a plant collector. So I just sort of feel like it's important to not listen to all of that jazz on social media, even on YouTube. I started this channel with the intention of it being about plants and art. And then I realized that I couldn't sustain that kind of video because I worked 2 jobs and it was just too much. And it sort of became a plant unboxing channel, and that's not what I want, because I really dislike the sort of consumerist aspect of any hobby, really, not just plants. And I don't really want to be feeding into that. So yeah, I'm sorry if me making unboxing videos has made you feel like you need to buy stuff. If you want to buy stuff, that's perfect. But there's a difference between wanting to and feeling like you need to. Which leads me to another point. For me, I know my mental health is kind of taking a little bit of a when I get in a shopping cycle. So for me, a coping mechanism with stuff is buying. And I think that might be a case for a lot of people. There's that little hit of serotonin when you find something that you've been looking for, or you click add to cart and you think, oh, it's going to look so good. And most of the time I can hang off and be like, cool, I'm just going to buy one thing, be it a nice jumper or a plant, whatever it is. And once off and that's fine. But then I notice that I get in a cycle where I'm obsessing about it, and then I'm like checking all the websites and buying stuff that I have never really wanted or needed. And yes, every once in a while you'll stumble across something that you think, yeah, that's cool. But it's when you get in a loop, and I think it's something that we need to be more aware of. Buying for the sake of buying, for the serotonin, and perhaps finding other ways of addressing it. Again, I'm not a psychologist. I don't have any training in mental health, but it's just things that I notice when it comes to my own mental health that I need to keep an eye on, and perhaps it could be useful for you. I've forgotten all the things now that I wanted to talk about. But I had a discussion with people on Instagram a while ago now, basically about plant limits. Have you reached your limit? What is your limit? Do you feel like you've gone over your limit? Are you feeling overwhelmed? And I had some very honest discussions with people, and I really appreciate that. So if you were one of those people, thank you so much. It was really interesting to see that a lot of people felt that social media had really influenced the amount of plants that they had bought. So also, I just feel that social media isn't all bad. So I love Instagram. It's fantastic. I use it for business. So I have both my business accounts and I do all of my business on Instagram. But my plant account is essentially my private account. And I use it to talk to people. I have made some amazing connections. I've made some real life friends and some friends that live all over the world on Instagram. I found plants that I never knew about. And for me, at least, I quite like social media, and I find just flipping through it quite relaxing. But I know for other people, it can be something where it becomes sort of like an influencing element, I guess. And a lot of people mentioned that in the discussions we had. They said that they saw people posting on things that they bought, plants that they had, plants that they were looking for, and it made them feel like they needed them too. And a lot of people as well had said that they were way past the amount of plants that they were comfortable looking after. Way past. And it was affecting their mental health. And they didn't know how to get rid of them because, unfortunately, the thing is you get these plants and then you get attached to them. So I'm currently doing a purge. My problem is I like to propagate. So I just cut stuff up and I start to propagate it, and then I just have like 7 of the same plant. So that's part of my problem. But it's also trying to know when to start getting rid of stuff, giving stuff away, perhaps selling stuff, to get your collection down to a manageable number. So again, your number could be very different to my number. My number is about 50. I can care for the plants that I have. I can keep them in good condition. I don't feel like it's a chore for me to look after them. It's nice, it's fun, I enjoy it. It is a hobby. But yeah, a lot of people said that they were way past the limit that they were comfortable with and just feel overwhelmed by their collections. And for me at least, plants are there to calm and to soothe. To me, they make a space feel calm, and looking after them is calming. But last year I had hit a point, I went through a very bad patch, and you'll know from the amount of unboxing videos that I did, I bought a lot of plants and it was too many. And I knew it was too many and I didn't know why I was spending the money on it. I've addressed a few things since then, and now I'm back to a number that I'm comfortable looking after. But I just don't feel like it's something that gets spoken about. And I know that this video is now incredibly long and it's pretty boring, but it needs to be spoken about. It's a hobby. It's a hobby. Plants are amazing, but they shouldn't make you feel bad. And that's really all I wanted to say here. So if you are on social media, follow people who make you happy. I unfollowed a whole bunch of people last year. It was amazing. I followed them because perhaps they were bigger accounts, they had cool collections. I didn't enjoy how they were posting, what they were posting. They didn't make me feel great. Unfollowed them, feel so much better. So don't feel bad about unfollowing people. Whatever, it's fine. Follow accounts that make you happy. Talk to people who make you happy. If you're happy with your collection where it is now, that's amazing. Also, I'm still going to keep buying plants, let's be honest, because you can fall out of love with something. So I have just ordered myself a plant. I didn't know I wanted it. It came up on one of my favorite websites and I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy it. But I'm also getting rid of some plants so that I can have that new plant. And I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable with that decision. So, do keep buying stuff, but just, make sure your heart is happy, because that's all we really want at the end of the day. So that's really it. If you ever want to chat about stuff, I love talking to people. So, you can chat in the comments below if you want to, or on Instagram. I talk more on Instagram, to be honest. The comments are not necessarily as private. So if you do want to have a chat, my Instagram's @leafy.greenfingers. I'll leave the link in the description. But yeah, if you just ever want to chat about mental health stuff, I'm always there. And if you just want to chat plants also, because I love talking about plants. If you have any thoughts, feelings, opinions that you'd like to share as well, I'd love to hear. It's something that I feel really strongly about. Mental health, psychology, general well-being, it's something that I'm really passionate about. So if you have any kind of input, something you'd like me to talk about, obviously from an uneducated perspective, but I'd like to think that I'm fairly compassionate about things. So let me know. I will start waffling now, but thank you so much for watching. I hope this perhaps was helpful, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.